more on all the stuff and all the massive news we are following right now, I want to bring in Congressman and potentially probably the next senator of the great state of Oklahoma, Markwayne Mullin. Sir, welcome back to Wake America.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on. Sorry, once again, the joys of traveling, being stuck in places you're not expecting, like in a hotel.
Well, I talked to you like 8 hours ago on this network, and you were in the same place you are in now.
They told me I can. My flight should leave about 10:30, so I'm
definitely maybe.
I'm looking forward to changing clothes.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I want you to take a listen to Biden's response to Putin during this week's this assembly of the United Nations. That is basically a disaster itself. Listen.
Russia has shamelessly violated the core tenets of the United Nations Charter. No more important than the clear prohibition against countries taking the territory of their neighbor by force.
The UN is going to send Putin another sternly worded letter saying we're very disappointed in you. That should do it, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, sanctions have worked so well. Threats have worked so well. And what has Putin done? Well, he's helped drive the price of oil up. He's deployed more troops, and now he's threatening nuclear arms. And and NATO is doing a great job holding them accountable. I tell you who needs to really be worrying about this, Carl, and as you and I both know, this isn't the United States' first fight. This isn't our job to take them head on. Where's Germany on this? Where's Great Britain on this? Where's France on this? If he's threatening to hold the power and turn the power off, he's threatening a nuclear plant, and he's threatening to use nuclear weapons in their backyard. They should be screaming from the top of their lungs saying, hey, we're going to lead the charge on this. By the way, United States, would you back us up? And I would be keen to do that. But I definitely don't want to take the lead with this president in charge. That's scary.
Even after the General Assembly and what President Biden had to say, Russia's currency, the ruble, is up.
On the backs of all this oil. It's crazy.
Absolutely. And the ruble is going to continue to go up. The ruble right now, there's two things a lot of people aren't realizing. One, they are. You just mentioned oil. But what they also don't realize is they're also operating off of Ukraine's economy, too. There isn't any goods being shipped out of Ukraine unless they're going through Russia-held territory. Where do you think those dollars are going? They're not going back to Zelensky. They're not going back to Kyiv. They're headed straight to Moscow. And so they're seeing a bump up in their economy because they've got two countries and one's working for free. And so you're going to see the ruble continue to increase. You're going to see India, you're going to see China continue to build the reserves. China has now had the largest reserve in the world of crude oil and refined products. And India is quickly behind because they're buying it from Russia at a discount price. So their economy is actually doing pretty dang well.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Now, Putin isn't the only threat being addressed. No, Iran, during his time on stage, he talked about Iran. Listen to this.
While the United States is prepared for a mutual return to the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action if Iran steps up to its obligations, the United States is clear. We will not allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Iran is like, I don't care what this body of old people says, do they?
No, and absolutely. They're a sponsor of terror all across the world. People know that. But remember what the Iran nuclear deal was when they were supposed to be able to refine petroleum. Who was supposed to be the one that's overwatching that? Do you remember that, Carl?
Yeah.
Russia. Who is going to benefit from their spent products? Russia. So who is still overseeing their nuclear program? It's Russia. And we have a little bit of conflict going on with Russia, why Russia is threatening nuclear weapons, and yet they're the ones that's supposed to be overseeing Iran to make sure they don't get nuclear weapons. At the same time, Iran is helping smuggle weapons into Russia from North Korea. So it's absolutely insane what the President of the United States is saying here. And all this stuff I'm saying to you, this isn't stuff that I've learned in HPSI. This is all public. HPSI is a House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. This is stuff that's public knowledge that I know the President of the United States has, and he refused to even listen to it, or he's playing the American people thinking that they're ignorant.
It's like the fox guard in the hen house.
Yeah, this is also the first time President Biden and the president of Iran have been under the same roof in the last 5 months since these negotiations began. But who is the president speaking to here? Because when you're breaking it down, it doesn't seem like these world leaders are going to change anything. So is he speaking to them, or is it just a speech at this point?
It's 100% a speech. He has no credibility on the world stage. We have the weakest president that I would say we've had even Jimmy Carter was stronger than Biden right now. And so all he's doing is just going through the motions. I really do believe, and I'm not trying to make fun of the president of the United States. I think that's bad, but I do believe that he's going through the motions and somebody's writing every one of his speeches. There's no passion there. There's no thought. It's honestly hard to even hear him talk because there's no authority behind it. And everybody sees this. Every world leader in there is trained on body language. Yeah. Every single one of them can read what he's saying without him even speaking a word and look at his body language and look at him trying to be tough. And there's not a tough bone in that guy.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Markwayne Mullin, Congressman from Oklahoma. We appreciate you being here, sir. Good luck on your flight, too.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Talk to you later.
All right.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the
truth.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They let
me decide.
Newsmax.
Real news
For real people.